This is what really makes loving humans, and maybe even animals, just different from loving objects. With loving a physical object like a painting, it doesn't really have a point of view. But every human you're going to be loving is going to have their own point of view. And a lot of times their point of view is very different from your point of view. So this creates a challenge because if you're not good at being able to jump between different points of view, you're basically going to be incapable of loving people. And you know how big I am on point of view. I'm always talking about the perspectival nature of reality. And, in epistemology, all the deep epistemology we've talked about in the past, we're talking about looking at different perspectives on spirituality, different perspectives on the world, this sorts of stuff. We talked about this, different paradigms. So you really need to get to a point where you're very flexible with different points of view. And for this, you have to be extremely open-minded. So it's actually impossible to love deeply when you're not open-minded because you're not able to be epistemically flexible enough to take on others' points of view, and therefore you can't really understand that other. And if you really love an other, you want to understand it. And not just as like a specimen on a dissecting table, like you're dissecting a frog to understand the frog. There can be value in that. You can try to understand people that way, but that's not nearly enough. You got to understand their subjective experience, their consciousness. That's what you're really trying to connect with. You're not trying to connect with their physical body so much as their mind and their consciousness and their spirit, you might say. So if you really love someone, you take the time to get to know them deeply. And a lot of times that's what bad parents don't do. Bad parents oftentimes just simply skip the step of really getting to know their children. Like, what do their children really like? What do they dislike? What are they passionate about? What are they disgusted about? What are they frustrated with? What are their deepest fears? What are their greatest dreams and aspirations? And see, it's scary to really get to know someone's point of view deeply because, first of all, it's going to conflict with your point of view, which is going to make you start to question your point of view because most people hold their point of view as absolute truth and reality, the way reality is. If the deeper you get to know somebody else's point of view, it's going to start to make you question your point of view because maybe then you're going to be wondering well, but theirs is so different from mine. How do I know mine is right? Whose is right? So there's that obstacle. But then also, you might come to realize that their point of view is so different from your point of view that actually you two are incompatible. Or you just you might struggle to understand their point of view. It might be so alien and different that you just might not understand their point of view. And that takes a lot of mental work, which, most people will just skip over. A lot of times you just want to bludgeon someone to death with your point of view so that they stop speaking from their point of view. You want to do a sort of a frame battle where you out-frame them, out-paradigm them, and you want your paradigm to reign supreme, to be sovereign, right? But this is a sort of a subtle form of domination that you're doing. It's an epistemic domination. And therefore, that connection, you're not able to form that genuine connection. So an important component of loving someone is not forcing your agenda or point of view on them. Respecting their point of view. Which comes from recognizing that all of us have different experiences and even different personality types, different ways of processing information, even different neurology and neurochemistry and genetics, which make our experience of life very different from each other. Now, sometimes there's a lot of similarity, but a lot of times quite different too. So validating another one's point of view, that means you love them.